this nice and relaxing, looking out to the sea. Oh no, a whale! No, it's my good friend.
Go fuck yourself.
It's my good.
Go fuck yourself.
It's my good
Fucking go fuck yourself.
morbidly obese friend.
Who's
Here's
this motherfucker?
here's one more. Oh, golly gee willikers! It's that chap from the plant thing. They've reused the same thing.
Oh, you
How
just fell up. You
uncreative.
fell apart.
Can I jump in this? I can't jump in this. Yeah,
Well, the
we're.
game,
Oh, look at this. Time for
man.
hentai.
I I always knew you were a man who loved some tail. I know it's a tentacle. Oh, I found the exit.
There's weird shit outside and stuff knocking on the hull.
Bang bang.
Fish
She
people.
shot me down. Bang bang. Oh, there's bodies all over.
See if we can figure out what went on here as if it isn't immediately obvious. Give mistake things on here. Science mass. That's Christmas, I think. The mother of the specimen. Oh, I think the company's called Vern Industries or something.
Oh, great.
Which is, of course, a reference to Jules Verne.
Naturally. Where is the incinerator? Do you know?
No.
Or okay. Oh, again, I've just found it.
So, yeah, it looks like stuff was knocking on the hull and fish people got in.
As they do.
And everything sort
Fish
of went
people are famous for
to,
doing it.
went to hell.
Curses, not hell. Oh well, I hear it's warm this time of year.
I keep doing this. Keep picking up the wrong thing.
I'm not entirely sure the tentacles are going to fit.
Yes, they are. Where you at?
Our Lord of the Calamari. No, stop. Turn around. There you go. Hello.
Right. Oh, wait.
For what?
For that to be emptied.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just let it burn and I'll show you how to do it.
Fair enough. Would you like to talk about something in the meantime?
Yes, yours or mine?
Let's do one of mine because I've got so many more than you
Okay,
left.
I've got one, two, three, four now. I came up
I've
with
got
two
seven.
while we were waiting for Jordan to get his shit together.
Yeah, well, you know, sometimes you just need your shit to be.
Stop putting more stuff in.
It was a can, and it came out anyway.
Hmm,
It's gay now.
right, fuck.
I don't know if that's going to do it.
Yes, it is.
So anyway, we'll do one of my topics.
Okay.
Did you know that they are releasing a Taskmaster VR game?
Yes, I did hear that actually.
Would you play
Uh,
it if you had the capables?
well, I've often thought if I was a multi-bajillionaire, that I would get all my closest two friends in the world together,
Both of
and
them?
yeah, and hire Greg Davies, and we could play it. This one looks bigger. We could play Taskmaster properly.
I think you need Alex Horn
Yeah,
as
him
well.
too, obviously. Um, yeah,
Yeah, it could be a laugh.
yeah, I think that would be fun.
I think I would like to go on Taskmaster if I had the
Oh,
opportunity.
absolutely, it's one of those shows I would love to do.
Yeah,
Steady,
I think I
what
could
are
bring
some other
myself.
shows you would like to be on?
There's not many,
Uh,
to be honest with you. If I was any better at it, I'd probably want to do only Connect.
yeah.
Pointless, I suppose. I enjoyed watching Pointless, but it's not something that you see very often these days, is it?
No, it's sort of had its heyday, really, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I would do well, Taskmaster, and
Mm.
who do you think you are?
swing it, shake it, move it, make it. And then you get Phil Mitchell asking, "Who do you think you are?"
Yes.
Do you know who he's asking that to?
Me?
Sharon. He shouts at her, "Who do you think you are?"
Is that a thing?
Yeah, I've been seeing it a lot on TikTok lately.
Alright. Well. Yeah.
And as everyone knows, TikTok is the zeitgeist,
Hmm. But
or
I,
some of those words.
I think I found a pun. This guy's called Keel Ovar. I think one of the problems with the Taskmaster game is that you can never
Hmm.
really simulate that feeling, can you?
Which feeling?
You know, of actually being on the
The
show.
abject disappointment.
You know, it's the sort of thing you can never have the same resources that they have.
No, that's true.
Plus, you need. I'm always very suspicious of a game that requires like a bystander. I.e., I assume that you'd need to designate someone as the taskmaster. Um, you know, it's like having a.
For what purpose?
I don't know, but I assume. Well, probably not in the VR, but I'm sure in the board game or whatever you need to do that. And I just feel
I've got the
like.
book.
Uh,
I've got a Taskmaster book that
yeah,
has
I
some
saw
tasks.
that.
I've never done any of them, but I got bought it and I've got it. It's in my collection of books.
I think, yeah, I'd be suspicious of anything that. Which I don't. I've skimmed the Taskmaster book, and I don't actually think you need to designate a Taskmaster. Maybe you. I think you do. In that, I have a feeling. Um, yeah, but you think you'd be good on Taskmaster?
I'd like to think I would be.
Yeah, so do I. Mm. Hard to tell though. And it would be very, very fun.
Sorry, I'm just replying to a quick email.
Okay. Okay, so they picked up some stuff, and then I guess them like some wildlife, and then their mother came, which was like 5 miles in diameter, and fucked shit up. What
Nice.
email are you responding to?
It's a Rockstar one.
Oh right. About one of my topics.
Yep.
So, um, you familiar with Boogie 2988?
You know what? Funnily enough, I'm not.
uh, he's a YouTuber. Are you familiar with Francis? Okay.
Bourgeoisie.
No, the character he played, sort of big fat guy.
Oh no,
He raged a lot.
no.
There's a famous video of him falling backwards into a pool. Um,
No.
yeah, well, I only mentioned him, and this is one of the ones I thought up of while I was waiting for you, um, because there was a documentary that came out about him. Now,
Okay.
for those who don't know, Francis was regarded as like a wholesome figure. Or Boogie 2988 was regarded as a wholesome figure in the internet community. He was there sort of from the beginning. These Francis videos were really popular, and then he sort of went on and he was regarded as being wholesome and gentle and decent, and I liked him. I liked his stuff. But then he said some shit that was like messed up. Um, and he had some narcissistic traits, and it turned out he was kind of being somewhat abusive to his wife, I think. And it's
No,
just
that's not good.
degraded over time. Um, like he's basically begging for money now. He's broke. Um, he sort of he hires a lot of sex workers,
Mm.
which is fine, obviously. But
Yeah, people hire sex. It's a perfectly valid industry,
his
but you don't
attitude,
want to hire a lot of them.
well, it's his attitude that's the problem, really. Um, I think he thinks he's sort of entitled to them, and I think he likes being or pretending to be a big player. You know, flashing all his cash, treats them to dinner. He buys them like gift cards. I don't know what for.
Mm.
Spotify or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I just think it'd be Amazon.
Mm. And stuff like that. And, much like Chris Chan, who we were talking about for, um,
Mm.
one of the sex workers. There was a documentary that came out recently about him, which he sanctioned and has like been very critical of him. Um, and they interviewed one of the sex workers who left the industry shortly after being with him,
Mm.
which is similar to Chris Chan's experience. Incidentally, I may have told you this, when Chris Chan briefly tried doing sex work, do you know what
I,
what name they went under?
no, not a clue.
Stephanie Bustcakes.
Ugh,
it's
ridiculous fucking.
such
What a ridiculous fucking name.
it's the thing about Chris Chan is that sort of comedic perfection sometimes. It's so comedically perfect that you sort of can't believe it's not intentional. You know?
I mean, it is absolutely intentional, isn't it?
Well, no, they're not. You know, they're not in on the joke. They're just being themselves. It's not like they sat down and thought, what is the funniest name I could call myself if I was a sex worker? Stephanie
You do not
Bustcakes.
know about. You don't know that did not go through their head.
I am certain it did not go through their head. I dare say not much of anything goes through their head.
Well, enough goes through their head.
Mm. It's like
No,
they had
I
that
don't fucking know.
inflatable sex doll called Officer Nasty that burst during a session.
Jesus
Officer
Christ.
Nasty fell in the line of duty.
That's just. You don't introduce knife play if you're if you're working with inflatables. It's just not what you do. It's like rule number 1 of inflatables. Rule number 2 of knife play.
I've seen a lot of Boogie 2988 stuff floating about. Um, what do you think of like internet celebrity drama stuff? Do you have more or
I'll
less
be honest.
contempt for it than normal celebrity drama stuff?
I think it's about the same level of contempt,
Which, yeah,
and
I think,
about it. Like it's just drama as far as I'm concerned.
yeah, I
And my
think,
level of appreciation for drama is so fucking low.
I think that's very fair. I'm a gossipy little bitch. Um,
I just don't care about most of it.
I
I've
find
had my
it,
own fair share of drama.
yeah,
I'm done.
I
You know.
think it's good that you don't that you regard it much on the same level because it is essentially the same thing. You know,
Yeah.
it is no
Only
worse,
arguably the people are either
less
more or
talented,
less
I guess.
famous.
Yeah, it's no real difference from the old Hollywood gossip mags that used to run, and still
Hmm.
do run, but started running in like the 30s and 40s. Like, there's nothing new. You know, they were probably having like pamphlets distributed about the sex lives of gladiators and things like that in
Yeah.
Roman times.
Well, gladiators used to have their own merchandise and stuff, didn't they?
Yes,
So they
they
were
did.
like
They did
proper.
ad deals
Yeah.
for like olive oil. You know,
That whole bit of the Hercules Disney film where
yeah,
like they've got dolls of him. That's fucking quite realistic,
yeah. They
actually.
were going to put it in Gladiator, but Ridley Scott thought it was too unrealistic. That people would think that he was being ridiculous. You know, the Gladiators had sponsorship deals.
Yeah, no, well. Today you could buy your own model of a husband to a slaughtered wife.
Yes. Quintilius uses Lucius olive oil. He says it's the finest olive oil in town. 9 out of 10 gladiators agree. And the other one got eaten by a lion last Tuesday. So fuck what
I
he
was
thinks.
gonna try and work out how to make a point of the fact that the other one is dead, but yeah, nicely
Yeah.
done.
Yes. Uh, oh. IX out of X. Gladiators agree.
Mm. bloody Romans and their weird words and numbers.
Yeah, why don't you just use the Arabic ones like normal people?
Yeah, like normal people. That's not going to fit.
Well, then you'd better shoot it, hadn't you? Where's the bucket thing? That's a slosh-o-matic. Is the bucket thing around this corner? It's not.
If the bucket thing is here,
The
the thing
basket
that
thing's
opens up
there.
that's down here, all the way down here. You.
But I have another video.
This bad boy can fit so many buckets in it.
And I've got another video topic for this video.
Oh, okay.
H Bomber guy. You familiar
That
with
is a name that rings a bell, but I can't remember why.
He did. Well, he's a video essayist. You may be familiar with the video he did on Sherlock a while ago, about why it's terrible.
No.
No. Okay. Well,
No, doesn't ring a bell.
He did that, but he's quite big, so I think we follow him on Twitter. So you may well have seen him. Merlo Wackleberry. He did a video about plagiarism on YouTube, 4 hours long.
Oh yeah.
And
Did he copy it off someone?
No, he's gone through a number of creators, most of which I hadn't heard of. The Internet Historian. Have you heard of the Internet Historian?
No.
Well, he was on it. I have heard of the Internet Historian. I've actually watched the video in question, which was about a chap who got stuck in a cave.
As people do.
Which apparently was lifted almost wholesale from an article written. Changes were made, and he sort of fairly enough argued that you could probably do a video version of an article, and I still think there was effort put into it. I appreciate that, but it was a little too close to the source material. But the thing that really got everybody going, have you ever heard of James Somerton? Because I hadn't.
No, I don't think I have.
Okay, so James Somerton was a queer YouTuber. He was very prolific. Not just prolific, but he put videos out like weekly. Why are you doing that now? This is not a good time to do that.
Because I just want to break from walking backwards and forwards.
Okay, fair enough. Yes, and he made videos like he did one on Mummy Dearest, which is a film about Joan Crawford, based on her daughter Christina Crawford's memoirs, where she accuses Joan Crawford of being horrifically abusive. He did one on queer-coded Disney villains and things like that.
Like Frodo.
Frodo's not. Is Frodo Disney at this point? I don't know. What don't they own?
Frollo.
Oh,
Frollo, maybe. He's got to be gay, right?
No, he wasn't. He was lusting over Esmeralda.
Yeah, it's a fucking.
That's like a whole.
That's like. Con.
You haven't seen that film, have you? You just picked a Disney villain out of the air.
Well, shush. What about Gaston's mate?
Yeah, he's something.
He's definitely into Gaston.
Well,
he might not be
in the live action version. It's slightly more than subtext, I guess, from what I've heard.
I've not seen the live action, to be fair.
But yeah, he did a lot of videos about that. And H Bomber Guy basically dedicated the second half of this 4-hour video to about 2 hours to going over this guy's stuff. And it is some of the most egregious fucking bullshit I've ever seen. Like, he went through a script for a video, right? And he highlighted all the bits that were plagiarized. And honest to God, it was like 80% or 90%.
Like, legitimately plagiarized or plagiarized as far as this one guy's concerned?
Legitimately play it, like word for word, taken from articles and books.
Christ.
For a lot of these videos, he is literally just reading a book to camera.
That's terrible. That's absolutely terrible.
It's so fucking egregious. And I want you to hazard a guess at how much money this guy was making a year on Patreon.
I don't know, something like 20 grand, 30 grand.
$170,000 a year.
Jesus
A
Christ.
hundred
What's that
and
after tax?
a fuck ton.
Yeah, to be fair.
And our Twitter went fucking nuts.
As they
we
would.
we follow some video editors. Oh fuck's sake. Um, who mentioned that? Oh shit! I looked into this. Yeah, I've been plagiarized. This is some of my stuff. He's just narrating to camera. Um, he's done a shit ton of videos, most of which have elements of plagiarism to them, to varying extents. There are some original stuff. He also has another writer who H Bomber guy suggested may not have been in on it and just genuinely didn't know, which I think is certainly possible.
It seems unlikely, but yeah, possible.
Well, I don't know. If it's someone you sort of respect, you're not going to second guess. You're not going to assume that they're just reading a fucking book, are you?
No, no, maybe not. Where did that
Um,
fucking bucket go? The bucket's disappeared. Oh,
I don't know.
right. Oh, it's here now.
So I reckon most of the stuff that wasn't plagiarized was written by the other person. Like
Okay.
honestly, and H Bomber guy really ripped into him. Like he gave like a large number of examples. He at one point he clicked on a random video, clicked on a random part, listened to like a couple of sentences, entered it into Google, and lo and behold, an article came up.
What the hell?
What was especially funny was, are you aware of Todd in the Shadows?
No.
He's a music reviewer who was on Channel Awesome. Um,
Okay.
the next day he posted his own video that he'd been working on James Somerton,
Mm-hmm.
which resulted in a very funny joke. Somebody quote tweeted it, and said, "A second video essay has hit James Somerton," with the image of George W. Bush, which I thought was rather funny.
That is amusing.
Mm,
Making light of a national tragedy as part of an attempt to lay into this guy who's been done for caught out for plagiarism. That's peak comedy, isn't it? Internet comedy.
yes. Um,
Sincerely, I know it sounds vaguely sarcastic, saying that, but it is. That's how the internet works now.
yeah. Um,
If you can't make a 9/11 joke out of it, you've done it wrong.
um, but I watched this video and I got. I have to say, I felt a bit of imposter syndrome, which I often do,
Yeah.
because
Well,
I
it's easy
make
to be an imposter.
my
Sorry.
silly little video essays, and
And how much of it is actually written by you, and how much of it is quotes?
well, I use quotes, but I use them to, I cite my
Well, you
sources.
you
So
attribute them, and that is a big difference.
yes, I cite my sources, and they're used to support my own points, which is stuff I've written myself. I mean, I did get to thinking like, am I arguably plagiarizing Wikipedia because I get a lot of my sources from Wikipedia.
Hmm?
Not well, I say not most of them, but I do get.
Despite what we were told, it's quite a reputable source.
Well, yeah, that's a thing. It's good for finding other sources, and I wasn't aware that was a bad thing to do. But H
No,
Bomber guy sort of said in his video that it was a bit lazy, which is
yeah.
understandable,
Well,
I
H bomber
suppose.
guy can go fuck himself.
Well, I think he's got a point, but I do use other sources. I mean, I got a lot from that Noel Gordon video. The quotes for that from the official Crossroads Appreciation Society website. But again,
And you made a point of crediting them for that
yes, and
and
I
suggesting
said
people go check them out.
they're fucking great. It's very in depth. You should check them out. So yeah, I also take a lot of the time I don't copy and paste it. I sort of read through and put it into my own words and simplify it maybe and cut out what I think is extraneous. The plot summaries for certain things. Um,
The trouble is, I've tried to rewrite a plot summary, and it's a pain in the ass.
Actually, I think I've only really done that for the most recent one. Come to think of it, because I knew um, my first video, I knew that. I knew what happened there, and I knew what happened with Bet Lynch because it was easy accessible and I could watch it. Um, Dirty Den I knew a good bit of. So yeah, I mean the only reason I've sort of taken stuff from the Wikipedia plot summary for the most recent one is because the backstory unfortunately isn't fully available on YouTube. I can find bits and pieces. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, and I did get a bit of imposter syndrome. But you know, regardless of any accusations you could make against me, you know, for laziness or whatever, which I mean you probably could, but fair enough.
Yeah, not over that, just generally.
Yeah, I mean it's not. What do you mean? You think I'm lazy?
I think you're lazy, but I'm also lazy, so no
Well,
hate.
life's too short to fucking work hard, isn't it? Frankly, you know.
I can't wash this. Oh, hang on. Do I need to what wash me
Um,
mop?
but despite, oh, there you go. But despite like any feelings I have about that with myself, it pales in comparison to what this guy's done. This is the
Oh,
most
absolutely.
egregious fucking bullshit. He was basically
I mean,
making a shit ton of money on other people's work.
and you've made what 30 quid from 4 videos, and that's it.
Yeah. Um.
You know, it's not. It's a whole different league
Yeah. Yeah.
for now.
Mm. I don't necessarily know whether I'll make any more money or get any more Patreons. I'm very obviously very grateful to my Patreon, who gets credited at the end of every video, which is a bit sad. Thanks to my one Patreon, who basically the only issue I have is that he controls my fate.
I I I do believe that they are a patron
Yeah. Yes. No. You're right. They are.
rather
Yeah.
than a.
A
I know
Patreon.
it's a silly little
No, you're
technicality,
right.
but
It's fair. You're right. But yeah. I mean, they vote. They have voting rights.
bloody
Um,
democracy.
they vote on my videos, and
I am. Have you got more you want to say on that, or should I mention my upcoming project now that
uh, no, no. I think I'm done. Oh wait. I should probably say that shortly after H Bomber Guy's video is released, James Somerton put out a statement. He put out a second statement on Patreon. Then he shut down his Patreon, and all the comments on his videos have been restricted. So yeah, I don't think he's going to
here I was
recover
thinking you
from
were going to
that.
say he'd killed himself.
He's also got a film studio, which essentially
Oh yeah,
he raised like 60 grand on I think I can't Kickstarter maybe or
Kickstarter,
something some fundraising thing.
Kickstarter, GoFundMe,
I think maybe even GoFundMe.
buy me a project,
Yeah, something like that.
pay for my shit,
Yeah. He did that. Um,
OnlyFans.
yeah. He did that, and then get the fuck out of my way. He did that, and then all he really released was posters. Um, the film that got the farthest along, which is actually an idea I've had, and for one brief second I thought this guy is such a plagiarist. He is stealing from my imagination. Um,
Well, that's to be impressive, to be fair.
was something called Final Girl, which sort of dealt with the final girl from a typical horror movie and what she did after the fact and sort of coming to terms with everything and recovering, which I've always thought was a fascinating idea. Um, it transpires that he had previously said he was a fan of a film that was basically exactly that. I've never heard of that film, but it's a solid idea. So it
I
doesn't.
mean, arguably, Scream 2, 3, and 4 are that.
Yeah, but I think this would be that without the slasher element. Um,
Yeah, no, that's fair
you know,
enough.
I think you could do a very good allegory for like a survivor of sexual abuse. You know,
Hmm.
in the sort of script idea I had in my head, you'd have like a Fox News style thing blaming the kids for like, well, you shouldn't have gone to that fucking haunted summer camp. You know, you knew.
Going to a party when you know there's a serial killer in
Yeah,
town.
yes, exactly, that sort of thing. Yes. Why the hell were these kids
Who?
camping out
So go on.
when that guy with the hook escaped from the asylum? Yeah, it's their
You
own
know,
fault.
it's just yeah.
Exactly that. So yeah, and none of the films were made, and all of the posters were like I think AI generated maybe, or just really basic, and a lot of them were like recycled and reused for multiple films. So the guy was basically
Oh,
just a con man. He was
well,
pretending to be a video essayist, stealing other
it's good
people's
work if you can
work
get it.
for $170,000 a year.
People should sue him.
Well, H Bomber guy said that all the money he's going to make on ads and stuff for this video, he's going to donate to the people he he's going to go through all the videos and figure out who was plagiarized from and donate the funds between them.
That seems a lot of work.
It does seem a lot of work, but it's very admirable, don't you think?
I mean, it depends if he actually does it or not.
As I'm sure he will. He's a fairly upstanding sort of guy. Some of them may want nothing to do with it. Some of them may. But yes, shall we talk about your project?
Yeah, I only if you got nothing more to add.
No, no. This time I definitely have nothing more to add.
Okay. I'm, as you know, but it will be new to the viewer.
Unless you watched the last
I've
video
decided. Well, we didn't really properly go over it, did we?
when I mentioned it.
And also, no one watches those fucking videos.
Nobody watches these fucking videos.
I know, so no one's gonna know until it happens, and even then,
Yeah.
it's. I know for a fact it's going to be more successful than here by sheer virtue that the thing that I'll be talking about has actual fans, and we don't.
Yes, true. True that.
Like there are people who have put out 4 videos that have got 2,500 followers,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I mean, I'm gonna make some progress with
In
it.
fairness,
It's gonna be semi-successful.
they put more effort into it, and you know, uh, you could throw a fucking stone randomly into the internet and hit a let's play video like this.
That's true.
They're
To be
fucking
fair, but
everywhere.
none of them have got us, Ben.
No,
But
lucky
we're not
them.
that big a selling point, actually, are we?
Well, I don't know. I wonder whether we're really fucking boring to anyone who isn't us.
I think we're really boring to everyone who isn't us.
We're
Anyway,
probably really fucking boring
in
to
the new
us. But yeah, no, go on.
in the new year, I'm going to start releasing some F1 related content on my own uh, YouTube channel.
Brum brum
Uh,
boy.
currently, currently F1 fan guy.
I think it should just be F1 guy.
I think I feel like F1 fan guy. Like
Well, it's your
it
channel.
sounds. I think it sounds better.
Yeah. I had a fucking nightmare of a time coming up with my name.
Like the whole reason I'm going, I think F1 fan guy is because it's F1 guy sounds like I know what I'm talking about. Where fan guy makes a point of saying I'm a fan, right?
Mm.
That's it. I'm an F1 fan. I'm not an expert. I'm just a fan.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, you were having trouble with your.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I couldn't find anything, but I I like what I've got. I think soap study is sums it up. It's alliterative. It's easy to remember.
It's an
Um,
unfortunate set of initials, but
yes, it is. Are you a fan of SS? Yes, I love SS.
yeah, the SS is sehr gut, yeah.
Yes.
Ich Gedanken der SS ist sehr interessant
Yes.
und kein schmutzig.
Yes.
Do
Yeah.
you understand any of what I said there?
Oh, I don't know. I'm sure it was terribly witty.
If my German is correct, which it's very probably not,
Long shot.
I said that I think the SS is very interesting and not dirty.
That's true. It's not.
Yeah, I mean it would be accurate. I know schmutzig is definitely dirty. But anyway, yeah. So I'm
Schmutzy.
going to doing some F1 theme content in the new year. I'm going to do a bunch of stuff about the races as they happen,
Mm.
including some gameplay footage actually
Mm.
that is relevant to the race weekend. I plan on doing track breakdowns complete with circuits. So what I intend to do is for the first race, for example, which I believe will be in Bahrain, I'll do a lap of the track, following the racing line as best I can, maybe 2 or 3, and be like, okay, so this corner one, and a breakdown of corner one and what they're meant to do for it and how you're meant to treat it and all that kind of shit. And like, I've seen Sky do the exact same thing with driver, fucking the way that the drivers do it.
Mm.
But so arguably, it's in no way original, right? But that's fine because I'm doing it differently to them.
That's
I'm
fine.
actually involved in the making of the footage. So
That's fine.
yeah, so it's team stuff. I plan to actually play through the 2023 game in sync with um the season, so that there's a personal element to it.
Yeah.
I have been getting some practice in. I need to turn the difficulty up a bit, but at the same time, it's also quite difficult already. So I did a.
Yeah, don't be
It
shit at
wasn't
it.
Bahrain. No, right. Well, no, because maybe that's part of the fun, right? Is that actually I'm really bad at this. I'm just a guy, right? I'm not
I
an
don't
expert.
know.
I'm
I
not
think
fucking.
people would get annoyed with that,
Well,
to
I
be
know I
honest.
am, but I qualified in 19th out of 20 for I believe the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix the other night.
Oh, God.
19th out of 20. That is not good.
No.
I did win the race,
Okay.
meaning that I overtook 19 people, well 18 people.
Mm-hmm.
There was a safety car, at which point I was in second place. Accidentally slightly bumped into the back of first place. Because it's quite difficult in a safety car because you've got to stay faster than the person behind you, but slower than the person
Mm.
in front of you. Like it's awkward for speeding, right? Um, and they went into the pit almost immediately after. So whether I damaged them or not is uncertain at this point. But that gave me the lead.
And it was AI, was it,
Uh,
you were racing against?
yeah, just a computer, a single player campaign like most people would play.
Mm.
I'm not good enough for online,
No.
but I'm aware of it,
Oh.
and that's fine. I'm not going to subject anyone else to it. But I
Mm.
ended up winning, so I need to tweak the settings a bit. Got fastest lap as well, which
Yeah.
is, I had to earn the lap. I had to earn the lap times and stuff. It's not like I've got all the assists on. Like, you can have it help you with the steering and with the braking, but, like, there's different scales of it. So at the moment, I do all the steering. Like, steering, no assist at all, and ever so slight brake assist.
Where were these people getting Chinese takeout from?
I don't know.
I mean, I know that's like a, a general sort of trash item thing. Where the fuck are they getting, like, chow mein from?
Here's a question. How do we know how far under the sea we are? Because, like, this could just be an aquarium.
It could be.
Like,
But
the
given the
deep
fact they got
in Hull.
attacked by, like, a giant squid monster thing.
SeaWorld's next to the ocean.
Hmm. Well, I think it's a. Does it say? No, it doesn't say. Like a. I think it's like a deep sea thing.
Under the sea.
Yeah.
Under the sea. Down here is better. Down where it's wetter. Take it from me.
Mm.
I should think most of my information about drivers is going to end up coming from Wikipedia and sources.
Well, yeah. Do your research.
Oh, I definitely plan to.
Um.
I think a 10-minute video on each of the teams
Yeah.
with a bit of stuff about the
It's
drivers.
it's
No, nothing too fancy.
very very difficult to get stuff for soaps. It's not something that gets a lot of academic attention, believe it or not.
Well, I suppose it doesn't help that there's quite an awful lot of it as well. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of soap. Right?
I
If
mean,
you were going to cover soaps, where do you start?
I did have a cursory look on the internet for like academic books, and I found a good few. But my suspicion is that they relate more to American soaps,
Mm-hmm.
which is a smaller topic and one I might actually cover because they're dying out, and I think it's
What,
interesting.
American soaps or soaps in general?
American soaps. It's because
Oh.
they're aired in the morning, in the daytime, and they're aimed at housewives, and they never really had the same sort of for the most part anyway, the same sort of mass cultural grip the British soaps have. A smaller percentage of the population watched them and had that attachment to them.
Mm.
Given that the landscape of television has changed so suddenly, I think one of the one of the reasons it's one of the advantages something like Coronation Street or EastEnders has is that they've just been around forever, so it's harder to imagine a world without them.
Also, the Coronation Street in particular, there wasn't an awful lot of telly channels back then.
Well, that's the thing, yeah. When I say 20 million people used to watch Coronation Street, well, there was fuck all to do. I mean, it's an achievement, and it's like, I mean, it's important because that means that was culturally important for a lot of people who happen to be watching. But it was an easier thing to accomplish. They will never get those numbers ever again, just because there's less more competition, less room in the market. Uh,
There's no gap in the market like there used to be.
mm, yeah. They had the luxury of being dominant.
Mm.
So yeah, it's like how more than
Yeah,
half.
it's nice.
It's like how more than half.
So go on.
Sorry, it's like how more than half of the population watched the Den and Angie divorce papers thing. Like, that's
Yeah.
staggering.
Only thing on telly.
Yeah.
It was that, or the fucking
Morecambe
turn
and
it over to
Wise.
the fucking static.
Yeah, I don't know what Morecambe. Yeah, I wrote that post for the channel for the site, and there's more I can talk about because Morecambe and Wise are actually really important players in that. And I can't
Really?
remember exactly how it pans out, but I think they moved from BBC to ITV. I think,
Mm.
and suddenly BBC needed something big at Christmas time. It was something like that. But yeah, that'll
So
be
they
a
got
video.
divorced.
If I had better timing, I might well have released it for Christmas this year. But fuck it, I did my first video was a Christmas one, and that came out in May.
Yeah. You're not very good at getting them out quick, are you?
Well, no, but quickly going back to that H Bomber guy video, that he releases like one video a year. One of the things he
Okay.
said is it's okay to be slow with these things. It means you're doing it right. You're not just rushing them.
Well, I mean, it depends on the context, doesn't it? Like,
Yeah.
for example, my F1 stuff I plan on doing, me doing a post-race breakdown of what happened and, the major events and all that kind of crap, the highlights for low points, etc., etc. There's no point me waiting 6 months to get that finished because
Mm,
I've got another race in a week or two,
mm.
right? So the right way there is to get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's true.
Context is so important when
You,
it comes to
you,
timescales.
you can rush things for the wrong reasons, or drag things out just because you don't have time. Check this window. Does this make sense?
What window?
Up here, the one I'm
Well,
looking at. It leads out to the ocean, but if you go here, there's a little gap before the roof, and I'm trying to figure out whether it's. I don't think it's
I
high
don't know.
enough. You fucking killed me.
Who, me?
Yeah, look at me.
I can't even see your body. You're dead one. Um, no, I think you're right.
Hmm.
Hang on. Let go of this barrel.
Oh.
Can you just go up the stairs a sec? Oh, sorry, up the slope and see. Does that help?
What are you doing?
Well, I mean, I'm holding this barrel up. Yeah.
I
Does it
think
go past where the window is?
yeah, I think it might be a little too low.
Okay. So, see, this was a logical. That was an experiment, and it made sense to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not just a lunatic. I'm also have some good ideas too.
But,
I know they're few and far between, but they do exist.
it's like I know my videos aren't perfect, and I know they've got flaws. Like the audio is shit in those first couple. I was still trying
I
to
mean,
figure it out. I think the content is good, but I'm still They're very, very basic, and I'm still trying to work it out. And I'm lucky that a lot of my viewers are elderly,
Yeah.
um, and just like looking at the good old days.
I did notice one thing
Yeah.
about our Doctor Who video. Actually, I thought it was quite quiet. Like I had everything turned as far up as I possibly could, and I was struggling to hear us at
Well,
times.
it's difficult because I listen to. I don't have speakers on my main PC, which is where I do all my video stuff.
Okay.
So everything sounds fine for the most part to me.
Well, I was using headphones.
Oh right, when I play it out loud, oftentimes it is too quiet. But I'm honestly, I'm fine with like these not being the best things in the world.
No, no, it was something I had noticed.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think yeah, the standard of these is far lower. Um, I'm sure our viewer slash listener don't mind,
You
or
in about
maybe they
50
do. Well, they
years.
don't mind because they don't fucking watch them. But hey ho.
I plan on. I was having a look at how best I could get race footage for the because obviously if I'm going to talk about races, I need to have a bit of footage from a race, right?
Yeah.
Like I can't talk about a crash that happened and how it changed the course of a race without having the crash,
Mm,
uh, or best overtake or whatever.
mm,
Unless I got it on there, it would be ridiculous.
mm.
Um, and I've worked out how I'm going to sort that out, so that's nice. But that took a bit of work.
How are you going to do it?
I'm going to record it.
Right. That took a while to figure out. Did it?
Well, no, I was hopeful that there was a way I could get it without having to record it myself,
Hmm.
so that I wouldn't have to. What I'm going to end up having to do, I think, is record the whole fucking race,
What you
which is
could do is your
I can edit it out of it.
is your computer going to be able to handle that?
Yeah, we have to handle it.
What editing software do you use?
At the moment, I use Filmora,
Okay, well we'll see if
which I
that's
mean
all right
does the
because
trick.
well, you say that, but you're not really editing many clips together, are you?
No, but we'll make it work.
Hmm. Oh.
If there's anything I can do, it's make something work. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah,
I can make
I
it work.
feel that too. My Crossroads
You know,
video lagged like a bitch because there were so many different clips in and it ran to like over an hour. Eventually, I had to export like the first three quarters of it because it was lagging,
mm.
and then it considered it all one clip, so it didn't have any problems with it. And then I had to add the stuff on to that after the fact. And is that all the bits from here? Because I can mop.
I think it is all the bits. Do you want to grab this box with the stuff in it, and I'll take this crate, and then that's dealt with. Yeah, I don't. I'm not expecting perfection from what I'm going to end up making.
Well, that's
It's
fine.
mostly to keep me busy, right? Because I'm busy and productive in a way that feels like people might actually enjoy it
Yeah, I mean,
as well.
are you a little just motivated in part by the fact that I'm getting views and comments that are lovely?
It's motivated in part by the fact that the site it seems to be going nowhere, and I'm a bit fed up with it, and I kind of want to do something that feels like it might go somewhere,
Well, that's good.
but that isn't pornography.
But you shouldn't feel like you've I know we've had this conversation before, and I know you do feel this way, but you shouldn't feel like we've wasted time with the site.
No, I mean I am going to scale back my contributions to it again in the new year.
Yeah.
I was thinking I was gonna leave it until we got a bit closer to the eventual
Mm.
retirement date, as it were.
Hey, I want to
Oh, I
mop.
just found a bullet casing. Well, I put a bucket down for you.
Thank you.
I mean, I've used some of it, but if we work together, we'll get done quicker. Um, but yeah, I think I'm just going to do like a post a week plus the monthly one now.
Mm.
Maybe it'll be a music piece. Maybe it'll be a game.
It's reasonable.
Maybe it'll be a film.
Yeah, it's been a big part of our lives and sort of our first step into the things we sort of going on to do now. Like
Mm?
my YouTube channel would not exist if it was not for you, frankly, which is very annoying. Um, because you're the one who suggested that, and I thought, you know what, I reckon he's onto something there. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I mean, it was your idea to make them into videos, but it was
Yeah, you.
for offhand suggestion to do soaps or something for Christmas,
Mm,
wasn't it? That
and I
led to it.
realised there's
Yeah.
quite a bit here I can talk about, and I think I wanted to do videos of some
Whoops.
sort anyway. Maybe I'd often been, I like video essays, even though it's a very, 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 very saturated market. But
It
I
is.
am, for the time being, the only person doing video essays on soap, and I'm sort of lucky in the sense that most people dismiss them out of hand. And some people have talked about them, and there is a soap video community, but mostly that's just like new episodes and weekly views. I think there's a channel that does like character biographies, like short character biographies.
Mm.
Um,
You want to bring a crate up with you when you come back up?
okay.
Also, how long have we been going?
I will check. Oh, let me go. 55 minutes.
Wow, that's gone quick. I've only ticked one thing off my list. Why is
Hmm.
it so cold in here? I didn't remember turning the
I've
heating down.
got two more.
Well, we might have done this the wrong way around because if I'm going to be recording the next one, I might need to concentrate a bit more.
Okay, do you want to
Fine, we'll make it work.
burn through a few of your topics then?
Yeah, sure. I finished listening to Dracula yesterday, day before.
Yeah, he does go on a bit. Tee hee.
Oh, it's fucking dull.
Hmm. What did you like it?
Not particularly. I thought it was. I was disappointed given the cultural impact that it's had.
Uh, well, maybe the fact
And
it.
the
What the fuck are you doing? Maybe
bringing a bucket over here.
maybe the fact it's had such a cultural impact is the issue.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've commented on
Because
similar situations in some of my writing before. Is that
everything
like The
seems.
Shining.
Yeah,
The Shining was underwhelming to me because I had seen the quite frankly better Simpsons version,
that's a.
which is
That's,
ridiculous.
yeah, well, I think you're probably in a minority there. It's like how The Exorcist, when it first came out, people were like fainting and throwing up in the cinemas, and it was a big fucking deal. And now it's viewed as kind of boring by modern younger viewers who in 1977 would have shit themselves if they'd seen that, because it's just
The
so quaint compared to what's come since.
the,
Like,
the Simpsons had a narrative piece about that. Actually, Bart questions why something is scary, and Lisa's like, "Well, actually, by modern standards, it's not." But back
mm,
then,
yeah,
so
that train. I mean, have you seen that film of the train coming into the station, the black and white one?
the one where it's coming towards the camera.
Yes, and everybody says, "Oh, everybody shit themselves because they genuinely believed it was going to come out." Like nobody fucking believed that. They weren't idiots, but they were a bit unsettled by it. I think, it was that sort of like 3D sort of effect, um, and maybe instinctually their butthole clenched. Um,
As buttholes are wont to do.
mm.
Yeah, I don't know. But no, I was disappointed by it as a story. To the point, so much so that I believe I basically zoned out for the last hour.
You might be a philistine.
Me,
Yeah.
it just went on and on. That was no, but I actually wrote a bit down. Then we must leave at once, and then 10 minutes later, we really must leave at once,
Okay. What's
and
wrong
that's
with
10 minutes
that?
real time. Well, it's like you're trying to present this really urgent thing, right? And then you're not making it urgent. You're not treating it
It's
urgent, but
like
you're making a point of how urgent it's got to
you
be.
go around to someone's
Ah,
house
just
and they won't shut up, and you say, "Oh yeah, we probably better head off now." And then 10 minutes later, they're still banging on. So you go, yeah, it really is. I really should go now. You know, you just can't.
no, but in this context, they needed to beat Dracula to somewhere so that they could kill him. There was no time to piss around. He was gonna drain Mina's blood or whatever her name is.
Yeah, it's Mina
She
Harker.
gonna die. Keanu Reeves is gonna lose his missus.
Whoa.
Yeah. And not to cancer this time, like in John Wick. And not because he slept with 2 women that he sheltered from the rain, like in that other film.
Bill and Ted.
That's the one. No, I was disappointed by Dracula. In terms of other stories that I've been listening to since I
Yeah.
started, you're not gonna like this. I actually briefly alluded to this one earlier.
Oh, is this?
It's a Star Wars one.
Oh, Christ. Okay. What is it?
It's I don't know. Hang on. Bear with.
What
I'm
over
getting
the
there.
early years?
Oh my god, how did you? No, it's not that.
There definitely is
it's
something like that. I can't imagine there isn't.
probably they're absolutely going to be. It's a series of short stories. You may have heard of the series from a certain point of view.
Yes.
And what this has done is it's retelling Empire Strikes Back from different character perspectives.
Like a Tauntaun.
Well, funnily enough,
Oh,
that's the one that I wanted to talk to you about.
oh, fuck off. I have a
Oh, I
horrible.
wish.
I think I vaguely remember hearing something about this. Isn't there something to do with a
Okay.
mother or something?
Yes,
Mm.
there was. You know the Tauntaun that Han Solo rides to go rescue Luke Skywalker.
I thought they smelled bad. On the
On the
outside.
outside.
Yes.
Yes, we are given a short story. It's about 15, 20 minutes long from her perspective. It is a her. It's revealed in this short story that the Tauntaun that Luke had, the one that, died,
Yeah.
or at least we're led to believe died, was pregnant, which is dark
Just
enough.
remind me what the
Okay.
okay, the Tauntaun. He goes in the cave and the Wampa attacks and kills that one, and the one Han.
No. The Wampa attacks Luke and drags him to the cave. He is on the Tauntaun at the time. It's assumed the Tauntaun dies. He may have just ran off, right? Because it's gone for Luke. But
All
I
right, I
think
thought I
established
remembered
canon is it
the
died.
Wampa hitting the Tauntaun.
It maybe it hit the Tauntaun. Either way, Luke ended up on the floor and it dragged him off, right? Into his cave where he he found his lightsaber somehow embedded in some ice. Because the Wampa's definitely going to freeze in some fucking ice,
and
right?
he cut off his and then the one
Got off his arm.
Han had.
The one Han rode, the one who would freeze before he gets to the first marker.
Yeah, he found Luke and then he cut it open for warmth. Okay, yeah, remember now.
So that Tauntaun, there is a story from its perspective.
Okay.
Called "She Will Keep Them Warm," and the premise is it ends just before Han goes. Like he has your Tauntaun will freeze before you get to the first marker. Then I'll see you in hell line.
Yeah.
And then before him riding off, you hear that from the Tauntaun's perspective, but only word she understands is Tauntaun. Right.
Oh.
So she's hearing someone say that she's gonna die, but she doesn't understand it because doesn't speak.
Hang on. That Tauntaun is pregnant.
No, the daughter, the one that Luke rode, is pregnant.
And that's the father of Luke's Tauntaun.
No, Han's Tauntaun is the mother of Luke's Tauntaun.
Right.
The matriarch of the herd, and she's content with the fact that she's leaving because she's under the impression she's leaving to go and find her daughter who is with Luke. And the premise, the title comes from the fact that she's going to keep them warm because what they'll do is they'll all huddle together and stay warm because that's the only way to survive a night like that. And of course she'll keep them warm because Han's going to fucking cut her open with a lightsaber and kill her. Like, that's so fucking dark. Knowing that she's, oh my god.
Yeah.
But the minute I realised, I was like, what the fuck? There's also, because it gets worse, not that story. There's a story from the perspective of that Wampa.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Yeah, no, I got to that one before I got to the other one, and there's one from the perspective of Admiral Ozzel. Do you remember who Admiral Ozzel is?
Yeah, Admiral Ozzel, the guy Vader chokes for coming into.
It's basically a 15-minute this is what's happening in his head as he's being choked to death.
Okay.
And he's trying to remember. He's trying to remember the name of some kid when he was a kid, and it turns out the kid he's trying to remember is himself. And it's
Right.
like, what the fuck? This is
That sounds
what's
interesting.
going on here? Who hurt these people?
Well, you see, that doesn't sound too bad.
I mean, it was an
But
interesting concept, but you know, there was a minute and a half of the dragon snake saves R2D2. Can you guess what happens in that one?
remind me of what the dragon
You hear
snake
the
is.
sound. You hear the sound of an X-wing approaching. You then hear the sound of R2D2, which we know because it's R2D2, right? We're familiar with
Hang on,
R2D2, falling into some liquid.
Is this in the film or is this in the book?
It's in the film, but in the book, this is
I,
told
I,
from
I
the
yeah, I
perspective
just want
of
to know
the
what
dragon snake.
I just want to know what happens in the. Is this on Dagobah?
Yep. So you know the bit where R2 falls in the swamp, and they get spat out by the creature.
I guess.
That is told from the perspective of the creature.
I think
There's about 6 different perspectives of people fleeing Echo Base. There's the perspective of the Luke's fellow pilot when he's in the snow speeder. You got another pilot in in one of the other snow speeders who dies, and he's talking about how proud he is to have the call sign that he's got because of the heritage of the call sign, and fucking
somebody needed to pad a word
just
count on that one.
like, no. I mean, to be fair, but there is actually a vaguely interesting story behind the call sign, but it's not interesting enough to make a fucking story based on it.
Hmm.
There's one of a probe droid operators, the people who monitored the probe droids that were sent out at the start of a fucking
Oh, for fuck's
film,
sake!
and how the devastation that had been wrought on Hoth as a result of them discovering the rebel base there inspired them to ignore the fact that a probe also landed on Dagobah and spotted an X-wing. They deleted the footage.
Right.
There was one of a scientist who had been sent to study Hoth prior to see if it was suitable for having a base.
Mm-hmm.
And the scientists stayed behind because they were one of these ecologist ones, and they were disappointed with the way that the Empire had handled shit and the way the rebels had handled shit, and they were just staying there. They weren't leaving,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought was interesting because that's a perspective of you don't normally see in Star Wars, isn't it? They're just a scientist. They make a point of not being a
I wouldn't
soldier
mind
or anything.
living on Hoth, to be honest, if I was in a nice warm base.
Yeah,
Although I'd probably go
you know,
fucking nuts because I imagine that's a pretty desolate and psychologically raw, you know, environment.
they make a point of the fact that everyone is fucking sick of the place.
Probably. I mean, there's fuck all there.
Here's a question I have got for you when it
Yeah.
comes to. I mean, I understand that your appreciation for Star Wars is very limited at this point because you're
Yeah.
so fucking sick of it, right? I get that,
Yes.
and that's understandable. I can appreciate. There's a lot of it, and they just keep churning out more.
Yeah, it's a product,
Uh,
but it really was just a silly little fairy tale that was fun. But go on.
oh, I mean to add the one about the scientist. That was written by Hank Green, by the
All
way.
right.
I don't know
He's
if you're
got
familiar with Hank Green.
some pedigree. He wrote Baking for Alaska or whatever it's called.
No, that's John Green.
Right.
I
Hank
was looking
Green
for
has
Alaska. His brother.
the YouTube channel.
Yeah, yeah. Hank and John both do YouTube stuff, but Hank is more famous for that, and John's more famous for writing.
Mm.
But no, Hank Green wrote that story.
Mm.
The title crawl for Empire Strikes Back. I'm assuming you're not overly remembering of what's in it all that
No.
much. That's fine. I don't expect you to. It makes a point of saying that a bunch of rebels, led by Luke Skywalker, have set up a base on Hoth. Why
Right.
the fuck is Luke leading these rebels?
I mean, he's the guy who blew up the Death Star. You know.
Okay, but Leia had more authority before he turned up, and she's still fucking there. So why is he in charge?
Because he blew up the Death Star, and they need all the morale they can get at a time like this. So
Well, it's funny you
fuck
mentioned
it.
morale because guess
Give
guess
him
what else has a story from
command,
the
and
perspective of.
it'll help him.
There's also a story from the perspective of a rebel recruitment officer who's trying to get some sort of footage so that they can make a recruitment video. And she spends half the time trying to get a conversation with Luke Skywalker but it's awkward timing because it's as he's gone missing, and Han won't do it because he doesn't think he's a suitable role model for them. And Chewbacca speaks Woshu or whatever the fuck the language is, Shriwuk or whatever it is.
Shuriken. I mean, that vaguely sounds interesting. Like you could do a. I don't know. I don't think it's appropriate for what Star Wars really is meant to be, but I could buy like a propaganda-esque thing. I honestly kind of wish. I mean, I've spoken before about how that's the third giblet in a row about how I'd like to see a. It'll never happen, but I'd like to see a Veep style series set in the Star Trek Federation world. I think that would be interesting. That would be funny. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake, the Ferengi are kicking off about fucking taxes on the home world, and they demand, a discount or so. I don't know. We're having difficulty leasing this moon from them.
Drain the swamp.
What?
Drain. I don't know. It's
Okay.
drain the swamp.
Yeah, I mean that could be fun, but I sort of wish I think we get too hung up on art, on films and shit. I think we should just do what we want. Do fun, interesting things. But a lot of people do want to do fun, interesting things, and studios don't give a shit because they're not profitable, which I understand. But I think it's annoying. For a while now, I figured that I'd quite like soaps to get unrealistic. You know, I know they were born in realism, and I know that's sort of something they cling to and get criticised for not doing. But the fact is, quite recently, we've seen some characters return to EastEnders who were presumed to be dead, like said to be dead, and this is two that have said they've faked their deaths.
Oh God!
You know, with
only so many people can fake it.
Fairly little criticism, it seems to me.
Really?
Yes, Kathy Beale came back after supposedly dying in a car crash in South Africa.
Please tell me Martin Kemp hasn't started again.
No, I mean he blew up. It's sort of difficult to bring him back.
He dragged himself out of the car. Was it next to a canal?
No, it wasn't. It was just in the street.
Oh, okay.
And Cindy Beale, who was one of I think his first wife. She's come back. She was a much loved and iconic bitch character.
Everyone loves the bad guys.
Yeah, I'm probably going to do a video about that at some point. But I just think it's interesting that that's sort of been basically accepted. And I think we're, it's sort of I don't know, whatever the good version of a slippery slope is, that we're beginning to get to the point where we're kind of fine with breaking these rules. Because soaps did start in realism, and I appreciate that, but at a certain point, you've done everything. An American soap's never felt particularly bound by realism. I mean, there's a fucking alien abduction in in one of the in the Dynasty spin-off. It wasn't well received.
Everyone loves aliens.
But there was a moment in
oh shit! Sorry, that's my fault.
That's right. I did the other one. A bad series of Dallas was retconned to be all a dream. South African soap or South American soaps, like they have like fucking ghosts and demons and all sorts in that. And I am completely fine with doing something interesting with soaps for a change and doing something different. I don't know what you'd do. I mean, you couldn't just jump right into it, but if you did like I mean, keep the character stuff, sure, but do something fun with it. So, to bring it back to Star Wars, I don't know how, but yeah, I would be fine with seeing like a I think there's aspects of that universe that you can explore. I mean, the prequels, there was stuff you could do with that. Obviously, I
I
mean, there
think
were.
I think really they need to make a proper Star Wars horror. I think it's the one aspect, like the one genre within science fiction that they've not really even tried to touch on. Right? There's no
Maybe.
horror in Star Wars, not presented as horror
I don't
anyway.
know. Have you seen the prequels?
Ha, 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 ha. I don't know. Have you seen the sequels?
No, of course I fucking haven't.
No, exactly. So shut your mouth.
Yeah, you could probably do that.
I mean, a lot of people talk about the.
The
I mean,
zombie
the
thing.
zombie one that worked as an idea right up until they brought Han and Chewie into the mix. Take it away from the primary characters. I understand that they're sort of doing that with some of these sides, like the Mandalorian.
Mm,
He is not based on
mm,
a main character, right? But they did bring Boba Fett into it,
yeah. I think
and
I
I'm getting tired of mopping.
yeah. I think I like I sort of wish crossovers were more doable. You know, let's just have fun and let's do a Dead Space Star Wars crossover. There was talk of doing a
Yeah.
Doctor Who Star Trek crossover in I think the 90s or the early 2000s,
Mm.
but it never took off because of rights and whatever.
Didn't the movie have an issue? Like the Doctor Who TV movie that was panned. Didn't that cause part of a problem?
Maybe I think if I recall correctly, and I don't know whether I am, but there was I think the hopes were that the movie would be successful enough to lead to a series, but I think it
Mm.
aired opposite. Don't do that. You're fucking with my eyes. It aired with opposite an episode of Roseanne.
That's not
Um,
helpful.
the it was like it was the episode where her husband, after her husband had had the heart attack,
Oh Jesus.
which obviously meant it wasn't gonna do well. It's a shame because I would have liked to have Paul McGann as a doctor. Um,
Well, thank God for Big Finish, right?
mm, uh, yeah, I do wish there were more crossovers in fiction because I think it would be fun just to mash shit up. You know, I want to see how James Bond interacts with I don't fucking know.
Predator.
Yeah, that would be fun. Let's do that. Jesus. No, we can't. It's a rights thing. It doesn't work. The average man on the street can't suspend his disbelief enough. Like, who gives a shit? It's all made up. You know, let's do the
Imagine
live.
James Bond is doing his normal spy shit, and it turns out the bad guy's a fucking predator.
Well, no, maybe it doesn't even turn out the bad guy's a predator. Um,
Oh my God, the elaborate trap that he's got to escape from.
no, he's
He's
part.
a
Maybe he's just part way through a mission, and you think it's like a normal Bond film, and then the villain's fucking head gets exploded by a plasma gun. You know, and he's in
yeah,
like
no, that works. That works.
the main base, and James Bond's like stealthily creeping his way through, and the Predator's just like
You can
clearing
see
out
the predator vision watching him.
clearing out goons. Um, yeah,
Why, money penny? There's
but
barely any goons in this place.
but I do
What
think
happened?
maybe I think maybe we should just do the little kid thing of like you know how kids get their toys and play with them like crossover stuff. I don't know. I complained about
I
Star
know.
Wars doing that,
I was gonna say, yeah,
but that was different because that was dumb.
yeah.
That was
It's not the same as your idea's different, and they're just not getting it.
it. Yeah, but when they did it, it was a purely aesthetic thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You
Are you
know,
gonna go sign out so we can?
where is the sign out thing?
It's over here. It's in the tunnels.
You know, it wasn't characters and genres and you know specific films. But yeah, we've had a good old go. We keep failing.
Yeah, it's because we're not doing a good job, and we keep
Fucking
trashing shit we're not meant to trash. What percentage did we get?
43. It looks like.
Minus 60.
Oh, Oh no, my age was 43. Oh well. Well, fuck that noise. Um,
Yeah, sod it.
yeah, I need the toilet, much like last time. So,
That's all right.
do you have
I need to reply to another email.
any final words for the good people of
Uh,
the internet?
Oddball, Nitwick, Lover, Tweak. Turn this stupid fat rat yellow. Bye.
Bye.